accordance with the U.S. Code, veterans and service members may render a salute. Civilians are asked to please remove any headdress and hold your right hand over your heart. Color guard, post the colors.
Color guard, attention! Carry colors. Forward, march. Color guard, halt. Forward, march.
Freedom isn't free. For the past 100 days or so, the news has been headlined by this generation's most prolific example of that in Ukraine. A peaceful nation aggressively and savagely attacked. Every aspect of their daily life impacted for generations. Every able person taking up arms to defend their country while families are torn apart and their property is devastated. Just for a moment, put yourself in their situation and think about how it would impact you and your family. It's not a pleasant thought. It's hard to imagine. We haven't had to do it in the United States, and we're lucky for that. But just think about that. When you think you're having a bad day, think about folks in Ukraine who are paying a much greater sacrifice.
I'm honored to read the remarks from Representative FIVERR. I deeply regret that I'm unable to be physically present for today's memorial, but my own service on duty as a firefighter is calling me away today. I'm proud and honored to share these words with you. Memorial Day is a time for Americans to gather as one and say, we will never forget, to observe the sacrifice of those who did not hesitate to protect the freedoms we all hold dear. Those Americans who have fallen in defense of our nation form a legacy, an unbroken chain of proud men and women who served their country with honor, who waged war so that we might know peace.
The call to serve your country doesn't end when our time in service ends. Who else should be continuing to serve their country but those who know what it means to serve? To be leaders in their community, leaders in their churches, leaders in their schools, leaders in their local government, and leaders in their state. Imagine our communities if veterans stepped up again and again to serve those they once were willing to give their life for. Imagine.
Let's hold the space for veterans all over our country and who they are thinking of today. To whom are they raising a glass and saying, thank you, you are missed, and I won't let you down. We must also honor the, on average, 22 men and women who survived the battlefield, but died by suicide because they could never truly return home. Memorial Day was originally created to commemorate the lives lost in our Civil War, a conflict that embodied this nation's greatest peril. Let us use today to remember that even in a moment in which our country seems fractured, we as a people have faced harder challenges and come out stronger for them. Let us decide as a people that our darkest days are behind us and our best days still lie ahead.
My grandpa's best friend, who also served during World War II, wrote a poem of his experience during the war, sharing it with my grandpa, who, he knew, would understand what it meant to be the one to come home. Before my grandpa passed on, he shared it with me, and with the permission of the family, I would like to share it with you. It is written by W.P. Pat Grimes, coxswain, while serving on board the United States destroyer Wallace L. Lind DD-703 as she stood off the coast of Japan, waiting for the Japanese to sign the terms of surrender, aboard the battleship USS Missouri, Tokyo Bay, in August of 1945. It's titled, When. When we hear no more the thundering roar of distant guns upon the shore, when blood pools and ceases to flow, when breezes sigh where war winds blow, when troops' convoys are a thing of the past, and the slinking subs surface at last, when planes again in peace are flying through skies where now our men are dying, when those of us who've been across are making up for the time we've lost, when wives and sweethearts we are kissing, there'll be those whose lips are missing. When all is quiet aboard once more, and the earth resumes her peaceful snore, we'll look back on days gone by and think of those who've had to die. Buddies of ours whose eyes are closed, resting now in sweet repose. Buddies with whom we fought a war, buddies whose laugh we'll hear no more. His eyes now filled with brine or dirt, his throbbing wounds no longer hurt. We wonder if he feels all alone, now that we have gone back home. Back home to what, we do not know, but home again, they'll never know. And this is the greatest pain. Pray, Lord, they did not die in vain. I encourage each of you to honor those who did give all, to not let their deaths be in vain. Let's continue to serve our communities in ways we can, any way we can, in a way that you can. Give your all. Imagine what we as veterans in our communities can still do for our country. Imagine.
At this time, Chaplain Scott will return to the podium to lead us in a moment of silence for the laying of the wreath, followed by the benediction.
Please join me in a moment of silent contemplation.
Forward, march! Order, halt! Street and halt! Order, halt! Halt! Forward, march! Order,